lashes Asia with deadly flooding and damaging winds.
Woo! It's very, very powerful.
Twisters are spotted in northern Michigan. Investigators look for evidence they are tornadoes.
Going out looking for potential tornado damage today.
Researchers find a shark nursery just off the coast of Long Island in New York.
Saw that shark was able to swim from the South Shore of Long Island all the way off the coast of Maryland.
And can you believe it? There's already snow falling in one state.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. There is now a good chance 2 new tropical storms could form in the next week, and at least one of them could impact southeastern states. All this is happening as hurricane hunters fly into the eye of Gabrielle. The Category 3 hurricane could slam into the Azores tomorrow and Friday and even impact Portugal early next week. Meteorologist Jennifer Collins is tracking it all for us this morning.
Right now, the only active system in the Atlantic is Hurricane Gabrielle, still maintaining its strength as a major hurricane, but it is expected to gradually weaken as it moves towards the Azores, could bring hurricane conditions to those islands here by the end of this week. 2 other areas we're watching right now is a tropical wave in the central Atlantic, which will follow a similar path to Gabrielle and remain over open waters over the next few days. Could see that becoming a tropical depression here over the next couple of days. And then this kind of cluster of showers and thunderstorms there in the Lesser Antilles. Battling dry air right now. It's not looking very impressive, but that disturbance will move over the Bahamas where some development is possible. This is very close to South Florida. It can look very ominous there just off of our coastline. But what you need to know is that we are expecting a frontal system to move into the southeastern United States associated with an upper level trough. That upper level steering will help to steer any sort of tropical disturbance off the east coast of Florida. In fact, we could even see drier air filter in behind that system, helping to drop our storm chance by early next week.
And meantime, the most powerful tropical cyclone anywhere in the world this year that battered Hong Kong and Taiwan has now made landfall in southern China. Super Typhoon Ragasa killed at least 15 people in Taiwan after a barrier lake overflowed, sending a wall of water into a town. 17 others are missing, still missing at this point. The water took out a bridge and left much of the area submerged. Now streets in Hong Kong and Macau also flooded as the storm brought 90-mile-per-hour winds ashore.
And some of this water is coming onto this walkway here. Wow. And hitting this walkway and splashing us. Now, whoo! It's very, very powerful. And again, the Hong Kong government has warned residents to just stay inside because this is a very powerful typhoon.
Chinese state media reported nearly 800,000 people have been evacuated, while the nation's hospital authorities said at least 50 people have been injured by the typhoon. The National Weather Service now confirms 3 small tornadoes struck northern Michigan on Monday evening. One of them began as a tornadic waterspout before coming ashore. Damage from all 3 was limited to a couple of trees. Mary Jane Glenn was with the National Weather Service survey team as they looked for clues confirming the tornadoes.
We had some impressive pictures and videos sent from some storms that came through last night. We had a water spout on Torch Lake, and so there were some spotty reports of damage on land, so we're going out looking for potential tornado damage today.
Tuesday, the National Weather Service conducted a ground survey in Antrim County in suspected areas such as Bel Air, Alden, and around Torch Lake.
When we were in Bel Air, we did see some trees that were some very spotty trees that were snapped out. It wasn't like large swaths of damage. It was like one here, one there, and so but they were kind of in a more of a linear orientation. We've gone along where we think that there could have been potential tornado damage, and we've documented the points that we found, and we will take those back to our office and we will look at that, combine it with what we saw on the radar, and then we will put together a statement with our determination later this afternoon.
This search involved a lot of driving and surveying places that are open to the public. Viewers like you are also a big part of the process.
We stop along the way. We talk to, like if we see like utility workers, we ask them, hey, where did you, are there areas where you have trees down, where you're having to do work or poles down? We talk to, anyone we encounter public. Again, because, people talk, and if there's damage in a certain, so they can sometimes help us find it. If it's not a lot of damage, it can be hard to find.
Severe weather impacted northeastern Oklahoma yesterday. High winds and heavy rains pounded the area, bringing down trees and power lines and causing damage to several buildings. Brett Rains has more.
We're looking for down power lines, anything that's the risk to life, limb, or eyesight. If you have injuries in your home, please let us know. If not, we're going to drive by, knock on your door, make sure you're okay, and then move on down the road.
Sallisaw City Manager Brian Heverly says, fortunately, there have not been any reports of injuries due to Tuesday's storms. Northeastern Health System Sequoia Hospital got the most damage as strong winds ripped off the roof and sent debris flying through nearby neighborhoods.
Patients have all been either discharged or in the process of being transferred. Hospital administration already has disaster management and recovery teams coming in, but for right now, the ER is on divert status.
You can see metal wrapped around this utility pole. Crews are working to clear debris down to trees and power lines. The wind was strong enough to send a metal beam flying into the side of this truck. It punched a hole big enough for your fist.
Nothing but just water just swooshing down. And when I came outside and I looked out, I just had nothing but ice hitting me. I was like, man, this is gonna get bad. Next thing, it just started lighting it up.
17-year-old Colton Hill was home alone when the storm hit. He called his parents to let them know what happened. Fortunately, their home is okay, but there's a lot to clean up.
I've never seen this in my time in Sarasota. I've lived here since I was 11 years old, and this is the worst I've ever seen it.
Well, a cold front arrived in Colorado, bringing rain to the Denver area and the first snow of the season in higher elevations. It was the wettest day in Denver in more than 2 years. The snow and wet weather will not stick around, though, for very long because things are set to dry out and then warm up later today. And temperatures in the city could actually hit 80 degrees later this week. Large global patterns play a key role in the weather we see and experience. Meteorologist Kit Alexander explains one of them.
As we progress further into the fall season and eventually into winter, meteorologists monitor global weather patterns called teleconnections to better understand what we're going to see out the door. But we focus on patterns like the Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation, and the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which are obviously key drivers of the weather that you see. An important meteorological influence on the jet stream, let's talk about this for a minute, is the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, or PDO. For short. So this is a key player. Let's kind of dive into some of the details. So PDO is a longer term pattern defined by the sea surface temperatures in the North Pacific. So here's another big key player here. Let's talk about the cool and warm phases. So in a cool phase, water temperatures are cooler along the North American coast, but they're warmer in the central and North Pacific. A cool PDO is typically associated with cooler winters in the Pacific Northwest, but get this, warmer winters in the southeast. Now in a warm PDO phase, this is going to be pretty much the reverse pattern. This is where you have warm waters along the North American coast, the cooler waters in the central North Pacific, and the warm PDO is generally associated with warmer than normal temperatures in the Pacific Northwest, and like the other phase, this is cooler than normal temperatures in the southeast. So these specific patterns influence the location of high and low pressure systems, which eventually affect the jet stream. In summary, drastic shifts in our local weather often have their origins hundreds or sometimes even thousands of miles away.
And time now to check today's weather in cities across the nation. And we begin in Seattle, where there is an air quality alert for smoke from wildfires, but winds should pick up this afternoon, which will hopefully clear the air in many places. The high today should approach around 70 degrees. Now, much of Minnesota is under a dense fog advisory this morning, but it should clear out by noon. Highs in the Twin Cities will be in the mid-70s and could reach 80 tomorrow. Now to Atlanta, where it will be another hot day with isolated showers and storms late today. Highs will be in the lower 90s. And finally, a look at Beavertail Lighthouse in Jamestown, Rhode Island. Southern New England is looking at a mostly cloudy day with a brief shower or two. Highs should be in the upper 60s. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look back at Hurricane Hugo, a 1989 storm that devastated portions of the southeastern U.S.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We're tracking highs in the 60s and 70s. Today, expect a lot of clouds as an old stubborn front that's over southern New England. Best chance for showers will be in this region. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, as we go into the day on Thursday, the same front's going to come back at us as a warm front in the Northeast. Expect our steadiest and heaviest rainfall this week to arrive on Thursday. That's 7 o'clock in the morning. Some areas could get an inch of rain on Thursday. We should clear it out on Friday with a lot of sunshine.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Bailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Showers and storms will continue to be in your forecast going through Wednesday and Thursday, especially the second half of the day. The second half of Thursday could be the most active with numerous showers and storms, and they could be on the strong to severe side. Temperatures will be warm out ahead of that front, too. We'll likely get to the 80s except for the mountains, and that'll be the case again on Thursday as well.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. A cold front is moving into the southeast at this time and will bring showers and thunderstorms to parts of the Mississippi River Valley and the northern Gulf Coast by Wednesday. Pop-up showers and storms Wednesday and Thursday across the state of Florida. It's going to be a hot one across most of the southeast with temperatures running in the low 90s from central and south Florida to the upper 80s across the Carolinas, and it's the upper 80s and low 90s for the northern Gulf Coast.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, it's been 36 years since Hurricane Hugo made landfall on Sullivan's Island, South Carolina. The Category 4 storm hit around midnight on September 22nd with winds near 140 miles per hour. Coastal sea levels rose over 12 feet. 35 people died. 35 deaths were blamed on the hurricane, with over 400 people injured. Meteorologist Fallon Mears looks back at the record-breaking storm.
The two biggest impacts from my standpoint from Hugo were the very strong winds, of course, because it was a Category 4 storm,
as well as the storm surge.
It still is the highest tide levels that we have recorded in the area on record was from Hurricane Hugo.
Morales says if the storm had been just 20 to 30 miles south, it could have been much worse.
Would have been a tremendously different scenario for the city of Charleston, especially for storm surge and wind. The wind would have been stronger. The storm surge would have been double.
But for those that experienced it, they never want to go through it again.
It felt like a locomotive sound, just like this droning sound. When it was over, when we managed to fall asleep and we got up that morning, and there was some property damage, a shed in the back. If you can picture, if you have a sheet of paper and you just ball it up, that metal shed looked like that in the backyard.
And among the chaos, a passion for meteorology sparked. Meteorologist Sonia Stevens was 8 years old at the time, living in Kiowa Island and evacuated to Camden.
I saw how much devastation it brought to an area that I love, an area that I lived in, and it really kind of fueled my interest for weather. How can we help protect people, help keep them safe during storms like that?
Unfortunately,
you'll hear all kinds of stories. We had a friend who her husband owned either a shrimping or a fishing company, and he took the boat out to try to get away, and unfortunately he passed away.
Technology has greatly improved since then to keep more people safe for any potential storms in the future.
I would say those three are the highest or most significant improvements that have occurred, probably even in our whole field of meteorology, to be honest, is models, radar, and satellite.
Well, a discovery initially made about a decade ago is now providing researchers with insight about one of the most notorious predators in the ocean, the great white shark. Now, scientists found a great white shark nursery off New York's Long Island. Shark trackers say the discovery shows these types of sharks are spending more time in the waters in the Northeast. Lee Waldman explains.
Researchers on board this boat only have a matter of minutes after catching a juvenile great white shark to tag it with a satellite tracker and gather data from it.
Everybody that's on this boat have been trained to do the duties that they need to do to get this shark, get the data, and get it back swimming in the water.
The practice of tagging juvenile sharks is relatively new. Frank Covetto's team with South Fork Shark Research and Education Program is the first to do it in the Atlantic.
We saw that shark was able to swim from the South Shore of Long Island all the way off the coast of Maryland, and it popped off, and then we kind of opened up the doors to all this research that we're doing.
Research born from a very rare 2016 discovery, a great white shark nursery, the only one to be scientifically verified in the North Atlantic, and only the third like it in the world.
Extremely special. We're so fortunate that there's a nursery like this here right in our backyard.
Scientists still have many unanswered questions about one of the ocean's apex predators, including where they mate and where they give birth. But discoveries like this nursery in New York waters provide important clues. In May, Joanna Steidel, a marine wildlife drone photographer in Southampton, captured video of what appeared to be a large pregnant great white shark swimming in the waters off Montauk.
Usually just before 4th of July is when I start seeing them. So this was in May. I was totally shocked.
It was the start of what Steidel describes as an abundance of sharks in Northeast waters this summer. Since 2020, trackers have spotted 93 great white sharks off the coast of Maine. 19 unique white sharks were recorded in 2024 alone. Covetto says the appearance of more sharks in the water is twofold: videos and pictures being shared on social media, and successful conservation efforts of great whites and their food sources.
We're seeing the populations either being sustained or are actually improving over the years, but they're not even close to being what they were 50 years ago.
It's not just sharks showing up in the Northeast. Rhode Island is experiencing more bobcat sightings, and researchers want to know why. TopeAdeleye has that story.
I've never seen one, so I think it's a little unusual, but he was minding his own business.
From Providence to Richmond to Lincoln, these fluffy, spotted, bob-tailed creatures with striking features are being spotted all across Rhode Island. For Tammy Inachilli, it was after a buck bolted into her backyard in the Hope neighborhood of Providence last Thursday morning.
And I went to get my camera to take a picture of him, and he kind of already left. And then when I turned around, that's when I seen the bobcat.
Sightings like this are why the University of Rhode Island, DEM, and others have launched a special study.
So bobcats are being seen more and more frequently, and we're trying to learn more about the habitats in which they use and their interactions with people.
Early findings show more bobcats spotted in the southern and western region of the state, the less populated areas.
They are occupying more habitats across Rhode Island as compared to other medium-sized carnivore species that may be declining or not doing as well.
Locals have shared many sightings on the Rhode Island Animal Wildlife Facebook page. Just in the past week, URI launched a survey asking people to report recent and past sightings. They plan to begin tagging bobcats this winter to better understand their locations and the impacts of human disturbance.
Well, many of us have looked up at the sky to see clouds that resemble things like animals, hearts, food, and even people. But do you know how many different types of clouds there are and how they actually form? Meteorologist Erica Estreva explains.
This week, we're going to teach you a little bit more about cloud types. Of course, as you go up into the sky, they're going to get a little bit different than those that develop further down, closer to the surface. Now, when we have cumulonimbus, that's our thunderstorm clouds. Those billow all the way up into the sky, and they can have water and also ice associated with them, which is where you can get hail occasionally with some of those stronger storms. We have cumulus clouds that won't necessarily cause too many issues, but that is also rising motion, some upward development. As you go a little bit lower in the sky, nimbostratus, that's some of our rain clouds, the overcast, not necessarily going to bring any thunder and lightning, but it still is one of those more dreary days. Same with stratus. Stratus can coat pretty much everything in the sky in cloud cover. May not have a ton of rainfall. As you go further up into the sky, cirrus clouds, those thin wispy clouds, as well as cirrocumulus that may cover the sky a little bit more. Same thing with altocumulus, a little bit lower in the sky, but some of those puffy, widespread clouds that you can still see the sun right on through. Stratocumulus will end it there. It's a little bit lower in the sky, and it obscures the sun somewhat.
And time now for a short break, but first we've taken views of sunrise over Baltimore's Inner Harbor.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Sarah Converse. A frontal boundary draped over parts of the Midwest is going to track to the east, bringing in quite a bit of heavy rain showers and thunderstorms for parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Columbus 73, Springfield, Illinois 76, and then Kansas City 74. Rain will be possible through the Ohio River Valley as that cold front moves out. Dry conditions out west of the Mississippi.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. We're starting off a little cloudy and a little rainy down toward the south and cool as well. Weak cold front going to be pushing down toward the south. That'll see some rain all the way from East Texas, Central Texas, down to the south as well. That will help cool the temperatures a little bit, also bring some heavier rain down into South Texas. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a happy Wednesday to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, you can see it's warm and sunny and dry around the North California coastline. There are still some showers and thunderstorms brewing to the south near LA. 87 in Boise, still some issues with smoke throughout Washington state from Seattle to Spokane. And there goes the heat again with 107 out of Phoenix. Otherwise fairly quiet other than those scattered showers through Orange County and San Diego today. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
With fall officially here, it means that your yard could start to fill up with leaves. For most of us, blowing, raking, bagging, and tossing those leaves can be a big hassle, but as meteorologist Christina Ernie explains on TikTok, it's an important thing to do.
Leaves are pretty, but don't leave them be. Here are 3 reasons why it's so important to do your raking, your leaf blowing, and all of your fall cleanup. Number 1, leaves are more slippery than ice when wet. You can take a nasty fall or skid with your car. Number 2, they can clog drains and cause flooding in the fall. Number 3, leaves left unraked can actually harm your grass. In the winter and the spring months, it can promote mold under snowpack and ultimately harm your grass and even make it not grow next spring.
And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.